3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a wall. White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Santi getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga before he's hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. They just to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Lana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3. Melophobia started the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy, popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The fourth one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Season 14 playoffs. We've got a matchup here in our EUPC Open Tier lower round 1. 2 teams that did not expect to see themselves here this early. I can guarantee you that much. Big Ballers versus Everfrog in an elimination match.
Yeah.
Nicholas, you ready to get this rolling?
I mean, more than certainly, right? These teams, like you said, it's a interesting predicament they find themselves in now on the verge of elimination. But, you know, this is just where they ended up being, right? Brackets happen for a reason. The meta shifts really means it can be anybody's game here. And they have either of these squads have a long road ahead to try to make it out, to try to make it back anywhere close to that grand final.
Could not agree more. But, of course, we don't have just this matchup right now. We've got quite a few, actually. We got I believe this is going to be a doubleheader here this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We got, of course, Big Ballers versus Everfrog in the EU side. And then, hey, we're headed right to NA immediately after with Big T-Tar fan versus RRG JV. And then later tonight, it's going to be Enenra versus Squirt Squad. And to clean up the night, Vicious Inferno versus Vicious Outlaws. A matchup inside an org. So a lot of Overwatch to be played today. A lot of great Overwatch to be played today.
Exactly, right? And, you know, focusing back in on this match, if we want to take a quick look at our bracket, see how we ended up here. Because like we said, Big Ballers and Everfrog both had a lot higher expectations, you know, probably expected to go through a little bit easier than the way they find themselves now. Big Ballers end up going down 3-1 to Yurei Mirai, who find themselves there. And Everfrog, you know, we don't know the full circumstances behind it, but they actually had to declare a forfeit, giving the win over to Big Man Ting, potentially just not having players available within the time frame here. So bit more stressful to start off with your first playoff game that you're actually playing. Already your back's against the wall. You know, admittedly, right? And it's not a situation you want to be in because you're up against Big Ballers, right? It's not one of those easy teams you can just shy away from. You actually have to be fully prepared for this matchup because they can definitely take you to task.
Yeah, and, you know, we know how this meta has shaken out. It's the Malga, the Brig, the Juno, all that good stuff. Big Ballers doesn't care about that. Just flat out. They don't care. They want to play Wrecking Ball almost exclusively. And they have done fairly well for themselves this season. For the most part, they lost 2 regular season games. One of them being to Everfrog, though, in week number 5. So it's not going to be an easy job, especially because of the way that this meta has come in here for Big Ballers. But we've seen that they can be a threat even on these non-meta compositions. So I'd still expect this to be a fairly close series.
Definitely, they can absolutely be looming threats, like you said, those wrecking ball comps. And, Everfrog on the other side of things, they have also been ones that are not exactly going to be hard bent to the meta as well here. But getting our first in-depth look here, let's look at the side of Big Ballers to see who we're starting out with. It seems like it's going to be Yibsy and Zhao on that DPS line, Golden Pants, the reliable tank, the ball we know and love, and then Rally to Me and Bowbox, those supports. I think they're going to have the hardest job today, right? Especially if they're going to continue to play this wrecking ball style. Being able to stay alive and thwart off any sort of advances from the rush comps that Everfrog could be running out with is going to be the key to Big Baller's victory here.
Could not agree more. A very strong team in their own right, but they have a large task ahead of them. They've tried it once, did not go their way, but Everfrog is on the other side of the lobby. Leeway Unto on the DPS, Nevish on the tank, and Pixels and Zoom in that back line. This team is scary. I mean, they're loaded with talent. Unfortunately, like you said, did end up having to forfeit their round number 1 matchup, but that doesn't speak to how good this team is, right? Sometimes you have to forfeit. It is what it is. But Everfrog, we've seen what they can do and what they're capable of, and I mean, they are certainly a roster to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, runners up in the midseason for a reason. This team can go best, toe to toe with just about anybody here. They can absolutely, show up on the day. Even again, when this is also another team that does not prefer those meta styles. So it'll be an interesting clash up we have here for our first matchup. But the one thing that maybe not so interesting here, it's map 1. You can guess what cost map it is. It's going to be Lijiang Tower. It's just the comfort. It's just the name of the game. I think I've seen one team pick Antarctic Peninsula. They picked it twice, so shout out to them. Can't remember their name off the top of my head, but they've been picking it consistently. But yeah, I mean, Everfrog is just they're just gonna pick this map. It's just better for them.
I think a lot of people have that inclination to go for this first map of Lijiang Tower. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's got like an 90% pick rate, nothing small, It's popular for a reason, been in the game for a long time, very rush heavy, a lot of people, especially right now with the meta being the way it is, it's a rush meta. So it's not surprising to see Lijiang Tower. I'm certainly not surprised, and I'd be surprised if anybody is surprised, frankly, because hell, it's Lijiang Tower.
It's Lijiang. I mean, yeah, there's literally nothing we can say about this map that's new, right? It brings out some niche picks, right? The Symmetra has always been kind of strong here. Across all the points, if teams want to lean into it very heavily, sort of do their TP shenanigans and things like that. But beyond that, right? If we're looking towards these ball comps specifically, I'm expecting them to flourish. If we get to go to Garden, that's where I'm expecting it to be sort of the strongest for these dive heavy things. That's where pro teams even try to run past. But beyond that, right, when you're going to those more indoor points, how is the ball going to fare, say on control center? Only time will tell here, as Everfrog, they might be able to sort of sneak away those extra rounds just by doing as they please.
All right, map number 1 going to be Lijiang Tower, getting ready to head in here in just a moment. And of course, you see up at the top a different support coming in here for the side of, I believe that was Big Ballers. It's going to be Ace coming in for this roster. So, not exactly the roster we were shown at the start, but still nothing too big, too different. Nevish, of course, on the Malga, but with the exception of the Reaper, nothing else in this comp is exactly normal. Lucio Moira could still very well go over to the Brig, maybe, but the Wrecking Ball comp That's pretty expected.
Wow, Everfrog playing meta. I guess, sometimes your heroes have to die, but that's going to be, their choice at the end of the day. Big ballers are going to opt for the Wrecking Ball, of course, with the auto break backline, so it's going to be crucial for them to apply these antis onto the Malga to really give themselves the best opening.
All right, into Lijiang Tower Control Center we go. A lot of damage being put out basically for free by this Wrecking Ball, but no follow-up on any of it for the side of Big Ballers. 3 kills going the way of Everfrog already, and that's a pretty easy first cap.
Yep. I mean, just sort of blink and you miss it. Again, you're seeing the strengths. If you're not able to apply that ante into the Malga to make Nevis just a little bit scared to go for these reckless engages, then you're going to have a very difficult time. As now they're speeding in.
Immediately going in, and Leeway cleaning a house right now. Just a beautiful stomp.
Again, it's just another fight where you blink and you miss it. It's so unbelievably fast from Everfrog, right? And these are the quick decisions that you need to make, right? The longer you wait, the more time both this Tracer and Ball have to get in position to absolutely ruin your life. So it's good so far, but there's still more to do for Everfrog.
Here we go, immediately right back into the fray. Leeway is taken down, so Nevish will not have the backup. There is not a tank in the game right now for either side, but the sword comes from the sky. Ace cleans up onto, and it will be a fight win here for Big Ballers.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, they set it up. Actually,
what? Nevish comes back from spawn with the orbital ray to help out, and I mean, it is... my jaw is on the floor! They're going to be able to get the kill onto Ace, but the fight is so far from actually properly overtaken. What? What is happening? Storm gonna come through. He's gonna break some minds. Nevish stunned up by the shield bash of the Brig, immediately answered by Zooms. 90% now for Everfrog after the orbital ray re-engagement. Pulse bomb in the hands of Yibs. Death Blossom followed by the Dragon Blade there, and they're gonna win. I mean, Everfrog are gonna win this round.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some last-second contesting from the Tracer and Wrecking Ball, but ultimately it is just that. It's just sort of contesting, waiting for their health bars to eventually dwindle into nothing. But just overall, a very baffling round to be sure.
Yeah, it's just this Wrecking Ball being annoying, left on the point, but Nevish deals so much damage with those twin miniguns, and 100-0 in a hotly contested first round. Despite that score, I mean, my jaw's on the floor. I was not expecting that to shake out the way it did.
I mean, the confidence behind those decisions coming out from the side of Everfrog, right? Just looking at a situation where it's just the Juno and the Malga's not even officially there, just a Malga with saying, "I'll be back," is enough to be like, yeah, this is winnable, and willing to commit ult into that situation. Like, if you're Big Ballers, there's no way you can anticipate that level of just recklessness here, because normally it's something that you'd never get away with, but Everfrog somehow finds the value they need doing just that here. So now, same exact comps for both teams here, and we're just going to be more on this outdoor point.
All right, Golden Pants looking for something here early. Leeway going to be able to escape, get the healing from those supports. 9 seconds till the point unlocks. Golden Pants gonna enter the fray. Gonna Zoom able to dash back onto the map. Golden Pants are not so lucky. Going to get knocked off by Zoom, and Everfrog immediately gonna press their advantage and take down Ace.
I mean, yeah, and there's no reason for them not to, right? Like, that's the thing. With this Wrecking Ball, they lack any and all front line, I was going to say. So Zoom a little too far forward, though.
Yeah, just blown to bits there. Leeway is good for the trade, however, and Nevish is in right now, and Ace would be very lucky to survive, and the answer will be no. Nevish does decide to charge off the map, but as this wrecking ball goes to the point, I am at a loss.
You got me. I don't know. The rest of Everfrog here to stop the ball from just flipping the point for free. But now we're going to have a fight that hopefully should be more towards the point thanks to the space Golden Pants is making.
Okay, Nevish immediately comes back from spawn and ints again. But of course, Ace is dead, and Yibs with 2 on the pulse bomb does take that down, and Everfrog will lose out here.
There's such an odd split, like Nevish going in alone while the rest of the rest of the squad was trying to contest the point from Golden Pants, and then ultimately deciding, hey, we're out down our Malga, we just have to try to go to fight the rest of them and die trying there. Gibbs now just sort of hiding in wait, no pulse bomb yet, so just gonna be more just looking for the raw damage.
Alright, Orbital Ray gonna come down for the side of Everfrog. Unto and Nevish cleaning house right now. Pixels does end up following as Zhao simply can only look on in horror.
Horror indeed is going to be the name of the game. Big Ballers, I mean, investing the minefield there ultimately for naught. They are going to have some decent ultimates here, right? The Nano Boost as well as the Transcendence to try to help live through either this Dragon Blade or the Death Blossom. But, it's only going to be good for one, not both, unless they're overlayered.
Alright, well, Zhao is actually going to receive the Nano Boost simply to stay alive. And it's just not going to... okay, they do keep Zhao up. They get the flip on the point. I'm still entirely lost as to why things are happening the way they are right now, because this has just been ridiculous.
As per usual, Everfrog joins the lobby and they increase the silliness factor tenfold. Doesn't matter that they're on the guaranteed meta. They are simply playing it in such an unorthodox, crazy way that you just cannot anticipate. Still holding on to this Transcendence is Balbox, who, again, you have 2 DPS ults that you want to try to counter out on the other side. So it's sort of a pick and choose battle for Balbox when this one's going to come out.
Point pressure, and Nevish is anteed up. The cage fight to lock up Golden Pants. The Dragon Blade pulled, as well as the Death Blossom ripped. Everfrog winning out this fight without their Malga.
And like I said, just rougher the Zen there, because you think, oh, I'm going to trank the Blade, but it's fine. But comboing the Blossom with the Blade, as well as everybody already being trapped up in the cage, just made it so it was too much damage, and they could actually cut through that insane healing that Transcendence provides. Now Golden Pants just lurking, waiting for the chance to touch for the team.
Will more than likely get that job done unless they... Okay, it won't actually be the Wrecking Ball, but Yibs on the Tracer. So still a very good opportunity here. Dive comes through. If they could get rid of Pixels, that would be immaculate for them, but they just cannot do it in a timely manner. 3 dead, and the minefield is meaningless here for the side of Big Ballers. Everfrog gonna clean up these late picks, and they're gonna take map number 1.
I mean, again, like, they've shown that they can shut down the Wrecking Ball very nicely, but they're not playing this Malga comp the correct way, right? Normally it's all about the teamwork, the synergy. They're still playing it in the old Orisa style where everybody's almost an individual agent. And you're seeing Nevish, be a prime example of that beautiful Blossom on top of the Blade to cut through that Transcendence healing, like I said. And, I mean, Everfrog, this is just going to be more of the same throughout the series, right? You're going to see Big Ballers keep trying to take us to maps where the dive, the Wrecking Ball can work, and Everfrog just kind of will have free reign to keep, running this meta until Big Ballers can prove they have a way to stop it.
Yeah, I'm just at a loss for words at this point. That map was so interesting. Considerably closer than the first sub map was the second one on Night Market for sure. But there were some insane decisions that you would not dare see from many teams. But Everfrog is confident, even if they're technically playing this a little bit off from how it is generally supposed to play. They're still good, right? There's still 5 good players, so. It's just, if they're confident, they're hard to take down, whether they're playing this right or not. So, I mean, I need to see something from Big Ballers that tells me, hey, they're confident as well, because they really didn't look like it on map 1.
No, I mean, they did not look like the usual confident selves we see them as. And, you know, for fair reason, right? I feel like they were definitely just getting shut down by this over-aggression, right? Normally, you know, when you see this coming out from the Malga comp, it's easily punishable. It's like an overextension. Oh, the Malga's isolating. But realistically, right, there's no massive damage spike unless you're applying an anti and a discord and then actually getting a DPS to shoot, right? Like, this composition is just not built to take down these high HP targets that have levels of sustain like Cardiac Overdrive, like Malga does. It's just incredibly difficult for them. So Big Ballers, you know, they find themselves in a precarious situation where I feel like Everfrog, you know, might almost be perfectly tailored to counter them, right? Everfrog's unique style of Nevish, almost borderline inting, really is just doing numbers.
Yeah, and man, we've seen that kind of style be taken advantage of recently, right? Where the Malga goes in basically alone and is just chased down, antied up. But we saw a lot on that map where Nevish would do that and, you know, get antied up, get taken out. But because they are playing it in this style, in this unique way where they're like playing as these individual agents, it's very easy for Everfrog to follow up on themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, they are like, they're playing this composition differently than most people, but they are able to like deal a bunch of damage late just out of nowhere because the Malga, you know, goes down first. But it's Malga, right? You deal a whole hell of a lot of damage before you go down, and then you have your Genji and your Reaper coming and say, oh, okay, I'll just sweep up the remains here of the enemy team. And that's basically what we saw through most of that first map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, absolutely more than, like, I just, you know, couldn't agree with you more. Like, you just sort of hit everything on the head there with how it was going through the first map. But it seems like potentially our stalling is finally at an end. A decision has been made, Everfrog. They want to take us to Blizzard World. Now, point A and point B, I agree. The ball actually can work. You have a lot of high ground to start from. Lots of places to initiate the dive, make it look really good, really fancy. But heading into point C, that's where it's going to get a little more brawl favored again. So we'll have to see how this shakes out for Golden Pants. Meanwhile, Everfrog, you know, I'm expecting more of the same, right? If they're willing to bend and just play meta, what's to stop them from just continuing to run it until, you know, Big Ballers is the ones that prove they can shut it down?
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure that this is where I would have taken it with a map like Hollywood in the pool, but not the worst place for them ever. Of course, they will be coming out on this Wrecking Ball comp. I don't expect too much to change. Zhao gonna probably still pick up the Ashe here. Everfrog, they're doing some silly spawn shenanigans on the attacker side. They're gonna be exactly what you think they're gonna be, with the Malga Reaper, Pixels on the Juno Brig, and so this has got to be where they stand. If they can get this defense held here early, they have a good chance at winning this second map.
Yeah, and we will just sort of have to see. Everfrog, is this actually leaving spawn? Okay, no, they were looking to hook something, and now Nevish is going back. I was gonna say it was just sort of to see if they could punish Golden Pants for being overextended. But no, Golden Pants will just be hovering on a roof somewhere, as you would expect a Wrecking Ball to be. Because, you know, that's where I check for my hamsters, on the rooftops.
Down and in on top of Unto. Going to check. Do you check for large men on top of rooftops as well? Because Nevish just ran right over that. Gonna be able to find that stomp. No Cardiac Overdrive in sight, but has already dealt enough damage here for Everfrog to be more than comfortable in this fight.
More than comfortable is certainly, exactly what they needed there. Everfrog, like you said, just running over the rooftops there. Big ballers, like their composition, it just doesn't have enough sustain, right? Their dives have to be so on point, but Everfrog's not giving them a chance to really set up, but that should be a good time to really get a good setup going now that Pixels is gone.
I mean, unfortunately, it won't really amount to a whole lot. That the cart not really going that far deep because they just unlocked the point. So Pixels will return by the time. Oh my god! What an ante! Denying that push so effectively with the bio grenade, and a good job at denying the push for a moment. Hard scoping right now is Zhao gonna TP in from Unto. We're going to see the orbital ray come in from Pixels. A lot of damage being put into this wrecking ball, but Unto is antied right now, having to be careful. But of course, Nevish doing what Mauga does, kind of inting into the back line and escaping with his life.
Yeah, escaping with his life is, one verbiage I would use. I don't know if it's the verbiage I would use there as, Nevish ends up going down. But yeah, now, Big Wallers has been able to set stuff up here. Their dive has been looking a lot better here on second point, but the payload's still inching ever forward, and Big Wallers has tons of ults to finally stop it in his tracks, though.
Alright, well, here comes the Mauga. That pulse bomb just got absolutely chucked in with a prayer. Unfortunately, was not answered. So Yib's looking for some kind of opportunity. Dragon Blade ready to go for Leeway whenever they should so choose to pop that ultimate. Leeway playing safe, going into the underground area. Not gonna be in a super aggro spot, but the Wrecking Ball will receive the nano boost here. Dragon Blade will be pulled, but Valbox falls. Zhao cut in half. 3 cut in half for Leeway. Make that 8 pieces of people on the ground for the Genji.
And yeah, and so that'll just be the end of point 2 right there. The payload inched far enough forward that it was just a one-fight territory there with a good team wipe to boot. And now you're getting into third point. They're talking about going into the montage here. Why are we pushed so far ahead?
That's a really good question that I'm sure Nevish would love to answer later on, but Unto able to escape there for the moment. Leeway just as lucky. 4 ultimates in the hands of Everfrog as they await the return of their Mauga.
Yeah, absolutely awaiting here. They have a death boss to work with, but really nobody's gonna. They have to find the back line with this one because they're not gonna be able to find anyone else.
Well, there is the orbital ray, but a beautiful anti-grenade denies the push entirely. Bob being a little bit annoying, contesting the point. Just Zoom gonna try and milk as much meters as possible.
Yeah, trying to get every little meter that they can, but it's just a matter of, will they actually be able to, being the key question here. Tons of space still to be gained by Everfrog. They have the ults to do it as well, right? A looming cage fight as well as a blossom for anybody that's stuck in that one. Meanwhile, Big Ballers really have nothing to shut it down.
Zhao's on the Widowmaker now. A very interesting pick here as the rally gets popped by Zoom, and Nevish has this cage fight ready to go, and Bellbox is just gonna deny the kill for the moment. Unfortunately, that Transcendence helps nobody but Bellbox. So this fight is so heavily in the favor of Everfrog right now, and it's just Golden Pants left, and even that is probably an overstatement. 2 meters left, and Everfrog, with 3 minutes on the clock, absolutely dog stomping through Blizzard World.
I mean, yeah, just absolutely just sort of having their way with it, doing as they please. But just a good overall showing from them so far. Big Ballers, they had their moment on the start of point B defense, but after that, it really did just continue to slip through their fingers, unable to do anything about how it was happening. And you know, Big Ballers, again, this is sort of the crux of their composition, right? They don't have any other styles. It is purely this Wrecking Ball look. So if they can't find different avenues, different ways to make it work and sync up this dive, then, you know, we're looking at a very one-sided affair.
Right. Headed back over to the defense for Everfrog as Zoom was getting a little bit creative, but ultimately going to go back to that brig, of course. Nothing changing here for the side of Everfrog is the Big Ballers composition right now. I am not going to mention because it's ugly and I don't want to look at it.
It's ugly. I don't want to
Just to
look
ignore.
at it. You sound like my parents when I was born. But anyway, Golden Pants, trying to, you know, maybe could walk out on the hog here. Maybe it is officially a second look. But we do have to just sort of wait and see how this is gonna go out. Lots of typing in the chat going on. Big Ballers, this is a real comp. They have walked out on it. The Junkertown duo of Roadhog and Junkrat on the attack. Then you're also going to have Yibs looking for angles. Oh, that hook.
What was that hook? An unfortunate one to be sure, and Golden Pants going to get in here, and a body block there from Nevish to keep it there. Juno in the fight, and Golden Pants, unfortunately, Roadhog is not good. So get off of it, please.
I don't know if I blame the Roadhog there, right? Like, maybe I blame the game devs for the hook, not, you know, pretending to be an Overwatch 1 hook and hooking the Malga through the wall to your location like it should. But no, again, it comes down to Ace has a really tough job of trying to keep everybody alive, but also looking for opportunities to chuck this nade in to try to stop Nevish from doing what he's been doing so far, which is just cruising into your team with the zero care in the world.
Well, that hook will come through. Unfortunately, Nevish is one of the few that can just entirely shrug off that chain hook, and I mean, Golden Pants is just exploding. Balbox has no idea. Oh, goodness.
Goodness me, somebody has to watch out for the Reaper guy. He's just getting the TP into the backline.
Him and his revolvers. I mean, I don't know.
His revolvers. I don't remember the rest of the copy pasta. It's been years, but speaking of years, Golden Pants looking a whole lot better now that they've gone over to the Wrecking Ball, right? Not as free farmable, but still a tall task for you looking for Ace or this.
Okay, Unto, unfortunately, not going to claim a life with that Death Blossom. But, I mean, Nevish's death be damned. Everfrog is going to throw in this Orbital Ray, and they are going to win the fight, and Balbox is not hesitant to use this Transcendence for themselves.
Oh, Fletch, I don't know what's happening. I want to provide, like, this insight analyst like I'm supposed to, but really, I mean, Big Ballers is sort of getting stuffed into a locker right now. They do have a good ult advantage for this next fight, but they actually have to be able to convert them before they can say that this advantage was a success.
And now the Dragon Blade pulled, of course, Balbox with no answer this time. Going to be cut down, well, maybe not by the Dragon Blade, but the damage is good enough, and it will be another fight win, but Big Ballers have got 4 ults.
Yeah, 4 ultimates to their name, and they just forced out the rally, so all they have to worry about is Nevish's cage fight, which is just going to be expended here!
Did not expect that, I guess Golden Pants would be saying. With 2 picks, Everfrog is more than happy to just say, hey, we're not going to int anymore, we're going to back out.
We're going to remove ourselves from this situation. We'll see you in the next one. Zhao, wait, going over to the Echo now, giving up their ultimate. Very interesting play as Nevish is just stomping.
Oh, good lord. Balbox very low, you see up there in the top left, able to stay alive as Golden Pants trying to say yes, but it seems like Zoom is saying no, gonna get claimed by the... After everything that you've been through, you're shooting bodies, Golden Pants? You're shooting bodies? 7 seconds on the clock, Unto TP's up to the high ground, takes out Yibs, and I mean, the Nano Boost is gonna be on to Golden Pants, and the onus has to be onto them as Unto claims another live bow box, and Golden Pants will claim the kill onto Nevish, but it is a 1 versus 2 on the point. Unto and Zoom versus Golden Pants, trying to keep overtime rolling. Tracer forced to use the recall here as Zhao's gone over to Torbjorn for some reason. Overtime ticks down, no touches in sight. Everfrog claim map number 2 in the way ever.
You know, I'm getting a sense that what's the diva voice line? It's just like, I get a feeling you're not taking me seriously. I feel like Everfrog is definitely just playing with their food at this point, and it's, you know, it's an unfortunate way for it to be going right now. But again, when you are one of these OTP teams, you have, you know, your strengths with the ball comp, and if you can't actually, you know, find a way to pivot and make it work during these brand new metas as they crop up, then unfortunately you are just going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah, this is a speed run for Everfrog right now. I mean, they fully completed the map with 3 minutes on the clock, which insane in its own right. But then they completely full held point A, not even giving up a tick. I mean, this is an absolutely brutal experience for big ballers to be going through right now, and I really don't expect it to stop. And
what's happening?
so y'all can't see this right now. I think big ballers just rage quit. Oh, okay. Well,
how about here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sort this out. We're gonna throw it to a quick break because, like we normally would after map 2 anyway. And we'll have some more information for you guys on the other side of the break.
yeah,
Okay.
that's insane. Okay, so the series is over. Big ballers gave up. Insane. Absolutely ridiculous from big ballers. Everfrog, Aura, I guess. I'm not sure. That's insane. So the series is over. We're gonna cut to a break. We might have an interview. We might not have an interview. I'm not really sure what's happening right now. But when we come back, maybe we'll have an interview. Regardless, there is another series coming up in, I guess, an hour. Because there was only 2 maps played. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all in the next one.
The other side of the break. It's just a break. We'll have the interview.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah, break.
Smile.
Yeah, okay. Smile. All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got Coach Merck here to talk to us about this match. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of the way early. How are you feeling about how this match ended?
I mean, can you blame them? Honestly speaking. But in all honesty, it was a pretty good game from us. Good performance. I'm happy with them. I've recently worked with them. I think I started a week or a half ago, and I think the improvement is showing really hard and really good, and it shows in this game as well. I would also FF if I was in the enemy team.
Okay, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you actually can give us some very unique insight here because, Everfrog, we knew them as a very chaotic team, right? They never really cared about meta. They just sort of played and bent, whatever it was to their will, and it worked out for them a lot of the time. So coming into this team, as we saw today, a lot of that meta composition, is this something you're sort of drilling into them? Is there some basic fundamentals that they have to be used to, or was this sort of their own volition?
It was a bit of both. If you want to be the best, you gotta act like him as well in a way. Meta is meta for a reason. Obviously, it would only be meta bots. I don't think anyone always wants to see Mauga play. We have some stuff cooking in the back, but currently it's easier to work with meta and while improving the team rather than doing something unique and cliche in a way. So they used to play Zarya a lot when Zarya was in meta, etc. Now when they're Mauga, it kind of shows that their macro is really shining a lot more than it used to. Like you said, they were chaotic. I think in this game they weren't. I think it was opposites. It was actually a team showing, a team playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, looking at specifically this matchup, right, knowing that you were going up against a ball OTP team, right, did that influence any of the sort of practice and stuff like that? Were y'all anticipating it? Or did you still just kind of tell them to come into this with their own game plan, make sure they played it out their way, and simply just sort of ignore the wrecking ball?
I think it's more of like if you're worried about something, it's gonna happen. Law of attraction, And it's really just they know what they need to do. I've drilled into their head for a while what to do against ball and what not to do, and it showed as well. Ball, Diva, Sigma, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. I think they would have done equally as good, if not better. So they basically ignored the ball. It could have been any tank. It would have been the same ending.
All right. Well, of course, this keeps y'all going in this lower bracket run. Y'all will be moving on to play the other Frog team, TEC, in lowers round 2. Now, before we send you off here, Merc, is there anything else that you want to bring up that maybe we didn't, or any shout outs that you would like to make?
No, not really. I mean, we'll see how fast the next team FFs. Maybe it's after the next match. Next one map in the FF. Maybe break a record. We'll see. But other than that, shout out to my homies in Everfrog. That's really it. And thanks for having me. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming to talk to us, and we wish you all the best of luck throughout the rest of this bracket.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Certainly an eventful series.
Overwatch got played.
Less than normal, but it got played. I have no words. I really don't. I have thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff I'm not allowed to say on stream though. So I'll leave it with this. Everfrog, excellent team. Put on an excellent performance here in the 2 maps they got played tonight. They came and they did what they had to do, and that's all they can do. So good on them. Doesn't matter what was happening on the other side mentally, or I guess physically. But Everfrog, they came in, they got their work done.
They got it done exactly the way they needed to, and thankfully that's not the only Overwatch we have today. We have so much more to show you. We got coming up in just a little bit, about an hour or so from now. We got big a T-Tar fan 600 taking on RRG Varsity. I should say junior varsity. They actually got to beat their varsity team. I believe it was last week or the week before. So very fun, fitting matchup for them to say the least. And and then of course on the NA side of things, we got a Nenra Squirt Squad going on and the Vicious Showdown. It's like a WWE ladder match or something. You're gonna want to see which Vicious team can come out on top down there.
Yeah, it is worth noting that all 3 of these matches are NA. I think RRG, both of their teams just like to play really early in the day compared to other NA teams.
They're college kids. It explains it.
Yeah, it's yeah. So we'll have a bunch of NA action here throughout the rest of the night. But I'm just gonna close this book right now. Everfrog get the win. They move on. They're gonna play TEC in their upcoming match. All right. Thank you for watching, and God, hopefully the next matches are better. We'll see y'all in the next one.